Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Commissioner. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your willingness to take on this role. I want to raise a few concerns I've heard from constituents regarding the IRS processing of the Employee Retention Tax Credit, the ERTC. And I do understand the program was implemented quickly, and you know the IRS had to learn to run it as it was being developed almost. You know, so I know there were kinks that needed to be ironed out, but we're now 3 years out from enactment, and I'm still hearing from employers who've had challenges receiving the funds. Some may still be waiting, and in some cases even had to shut down the business completely because they did not receive the funds that were promised, the relief. The program appears to be rife with inconsistencies, and I just want to raise this hoping for maybe your feedback, and hopefully you're planning to make some program improvements. So for one example, an employee shared with me that they had received their Q2 and Q4 refunds 20 weeks after applying, but never got the Q3. The IRS somehow determined they were ineligible for the payment for Q3, although they got 2 and 4, because they considered the employer a government entity. After successfully appealing, that employer finally received the Q3 check a year later. And I asked a tax preparer how that could happen, and they revealed that they must send in the 941X form separately for each quarter, or else do not get scanned into the system. So it seems like there's a problem there. They were also told that initially, they were not told that initially, so many sent in their claims forms for the year, which delayed refund checks. Another employer received a refund check, but then shortly after was contacted by the IRS being told to return the funds. In the weeks this employer spent trying to get clarification, he received another check. So it's actually sort of frightening for employers when they're trying to do the right thing and they're getting a lot of mixed messages and a lot of different results. Another conversation with tax preparers, they shared that they were not informed when the IRS removed the Kansas City Processing Center from ERTC processing. So I understand that you may be redeploying agents to help process the backlog of these claims, but I'd like to understand what is being done to expedite the unprocessed backlog at the Kansas City facility or anywhere else.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Congressman. And you know, lifting up before I get into the ERC, like we are getting healthier. We are in the process of getting healthier, and I think our low point was during COVID, after years of funding decrease, and then having to shut down our operations and then retool our operations into a virtual environment. We lost a lot of ground. The paper piled up, including new requirements, such as the employee retention credit, such as economic impact payments. So it was a bit of a perfect.
So are all these cases being processed now? And I'm sorry to
Yes,
cut
they
you,
are.
but
They are being processed now, as I mentioned earlier.
None being held back. Like at this point,
no.
We can
The only
assured...
reason why it would be on hold is if we thought there was an issue of fraud or error. Otherwise, it's being processed. Where we were up to 20K a week at the end of filing season in terms of the number we're processing.
Thank you. And the issue of all of the 941s being in one envelope, can you commit that the individuals processing these will process multiple forms?
Let me look into that and commit to get back to you on that question.
All right, thank you. And just, I have a minute left. You've talked a lot about the $80 billion. You continue describing the hiring at the IRS and the new funding as merely right-sizing the agency, and you even pushed back today on the argument that the funding is supersizing the agency.
Yes.
I do want to point out, and I'd like to submit for the record, Mr. Chairman, if I may, an article from the New York Times from April 27th, 2021. And in this article, former IRS Commissioner Koskinen, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, said that he thought, and this is a quote, the $80 billion being proposed by the Biden administration might be too much. And his quote in the interview was, "I'm not sure you'd be able to efficiently use that much money. That's a lot of money." So again, Mr. Chairman, I know I'm almost out of time, but I'd like to submit that for the record if I could. Thank you.